What if I told you the internet, today is already obsolete? That in the shadows of big tech labs, new AI systems are quietly rewriting the rules of privacy, speech, and even the future of communication before you've had the chance to notice. In just the past few weeks, Google teamed up with MIT to teach AI how to predict the next global trend without ever exposing a single person's data. Microsoft released a voice AI that can carry a full 90-minute conversation with multiple speakers as if it were a live drama. Elon Musk, he's launching yet another company, and at the same time suing Apple and OpenAI for billions in what could become the most important tech trial of the decade. And IBM, together with NASA, has done something that sounds almost like science fiction, building a digital twin of the sun itself to forecast violent solar storms that could wipe out satellites and cripple the internet. Sounds like a Hollywood movie, right? But it's real. And it's unfolding faster than anyone expected. So tonight, we're diving into all of it. The breakthroughs, the risks, the drama, and what it means for your future. Stay with me until the end, because by the last story, you'll see just how fragile our connected world really is, and why the next few years may decide whether technology saves us or breaks us. Let's start with Google's newest invention. At first glance, it looks like a boring piece of math. In reality, it's the kind of shift that could redefine how every app you use, from YouTube to TikTok to Spotify, decides what you see. Section 1. Google plus MIT's MAD algorithm. Every time you search, scroll, like or comment online, your actions don't vanish into the void. They're scooped up into gigantic datasets, billions of tiny digital crumbs that platforms analyze to guess what people care about. That's how TikTok seems to know your guilty pleasures before you do, or how Spotify serves you that weird underground band you didn't even know existed. But here's the paradox. Companies want to learn from everyone, without ever exposing anyone. If a single person searches something rare, maybe a sensitive medical query, or a niche hobby, that result must stay private. For years, engineers tried to balance these opposites, find patterns in massive data without betraying individuals. And until now, the math worked, but it was clumsy. Common signals hogged all the attention, while subtle but important ones got drowned out. Enter MAD, short for Max Adaptive Degree, Google and MIT's new breakthrough. Think of it like traffic control for data. When one lane gets jammed with endless cars, say millions of people searching Taylor Swift, instead of letting that traffic dominate, MAD trims the overflow and redirects it to quieter lanes, where rare but valuable signals live. In practice, it means the algorithm notices those faint whispers online, an unusual phrase, a niche discussion, the seed of the next viral trend, and it does this while still burying individual actions inside a protective crowd. The results are staggering. On massive datasets, Reddit, Twitter, Wikipedia, even the trillion-entry Common Crawl, MAD extracted millions of unique items, while still covering 99.9% of users, all without breaking privacy. In other words, it cracked the code. Platforms can now see everything that matters without ever exposing who said it. And if you think this only affects engineers, think again. This system could change what content rises, what trends explode, even what ideas dominate our culture tomorrow. Now, before we dive into Microsoft's futuristic voice AI, a quick word about today's sponsor, because if Google's work is about amplifying hidden signals, this tool is about amplifying your ability to research and create pattern interrupt. Before we jump into Microsoft's wild new voice AI, let's pause for a second. Think about this: every breakthrough we've looked at so far isn't happening in isolation. Google's new algorithm changes how data itself gets understood. But what happens when that data gets spoken back to us in a voice so realistic, we can't tell if it's human or machine? That's where things get really interesting. And let me throw you a quick challenge. Drop a comment below. If you could talk to an AI for 90 minutes straight, what would you ask it? Would you try to learn a skill, debate philosophy, or just see how long it takes before the AI gets annoyed with you? Spoiler, it won't. All jokes aside, this isn't just about cool tech demos. Long, expressive AI voices could reshape entertainment, education, even therapy. Imagine kids learning languages from an AI tutor who never gets tired, or musicians collaborating with synthetic singers that can belt out any note. Now let's dig into exactly how Microsoft pulled this off, because the engineering behind their voice model is just as mind-bending as the possibilities it unlocks. Section 2. Microsoft's 90-minute voice AI. For decades, computer voices sounded like robots, flat, cold, mechanical. But Microsoft just shattered that ceiling with an open-source model that can carry 90 minutes of continuous dialogue and even juggle multiple voices in the same conversation. Imagine pressing play and hearing a heated argument, a heartfelt duet, or a multilingual debate, all generated by AI, with voices so natural you'd swear they were real people. That's the leap we're talking about. The model, called Vibe Voice 1.5b, isn't just about endurance. It can manage up to 4 distinct speakers, simulate emotions, and even switch languages mid-sentence. English to Chinese, narration to singing. It's like a voice chameleon. Here's how it works. First, an acoustic tokenizer takes raw audio, compressing it thousands of times without losing key details. Then a semantic tokenizer decodes meaning, not just sound, making sure the AI knows what is being said, not just how it sounds. Finally, a diffusion decoder reassembles the pieces into fluid, expressive speech. The result? Voices that laugh, sigh, or ache with emotion. The scale is equally wild. The system trained by gradually stretching its memory, starting with short exchanges, and eventually handling tens of thousands of tokens. That's what lets it sustain a natural flow for over an hour. And here's the kicker, it's open source. Anyone can grab it today from GitHub or Hugging Face. Even mid-range GPUs can run it. In other words, the tools to create feature-length AI audio dramas, interactive characters, or personalized narrators are now available for free. Of course, this also raises questions. What happens when anyone can produce convincing 90-minute conversations with voices that sound real? The line between authentic speech and synthetic performance just blurred beyond recognition. And speaking of blurred lines, no one blurs business, chaos, and controversy, quite like Elon Musk. His latest move, a company with a deliberately provocative name, and a lawsuit that could shake Apple and OpenAI to their core. Section 3. Elon Musk's Macrohard plus lawsuit. Leave it to Elon Musk to turn the AI world upside down in one tweet. His new project, an AI company called Macrohard. Yes, a direct jab at Microsoft. On paper, it's meant to be a pure software play. AI agents that write code, generate images, and automate workflows, all powered by his chatbot Grok. In reality, it feels like yet another grenade tossed into an already volatile tech war. The company isn't vaporware. XAI filed trademarks covering AI agents for speech, text, and automation. Musk himself pitched it as AI building AI agents running entire software operations. Sounds ambitious, but critics point out he's already stretched across Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, X, politics, and more. Adding Macrohard to the pile is, well, very Musk. But here's where the story gets explosive. Alongside launching Macrohard, Musk is suing Apple and OpenAI for billions. His claim that their partnership to integrate ChatGPT into iOS is illegal, a monopoly move that locks out rivals like Grok. According to the lawsuit, Apple's App Store effectively guarantees ChatGPT top placement, choking competition. Musk argues this stifles innovation and robs consumers of choice. Apple hasn't responded publicly. OpenAI dismissed the suit as harassment. But here's the thing, regulators have already been circling Apple for years over its App Store practices. Musk's lawsuit ties directly into those ongoing antitrust battles. If the courts take him seriously, this could reshape how AI tools reach users on the most popular devices in the world. Drama aside, the message is clear. The fight for AI dominance isn't just about tech, it's about control. Who decides which voices, apps, and ideas get front row seats in your digital life? Right now, that fight is spilling into courtrooms, and while Musk is battling in legal arenas, IBM and NASA are fighting on an entirely different front against the sun itself. Section 4. IBM plus NASA digital twin of the sun. Picture this one massive solar storm, and the modern world grinds to a halt. GPS collapses, satellites fry, power grids fail, planes are grounded, even the internet could go dark. It's not science fiction, it's a known risk. The sun, unpredictable and violent, throws tantrums that can ripple across Earth. And until now, we've had almost no warning. That's why IBM and NASA's new AI model is so groundbreaking, called Surya. It's essentially a digital twin of the sun. Trained on 9 years of non-stop solar data, it can predict solar flares and coronal mass ejections up to 2 hours in advance, doubling the warning time compared to previous systems. 2 hours may not sound like much, but for satellite operators, airlines or power companies, it can mean the difference between damage and disaster. Surya's architecture is cutting-edge, a vision transformer, capable of digesting massive 4K solar images and learning hidden rotation patterns of the sun itself. The result? 16% more accurate predictions, not just for flares, but also for solar winds, ultraviolet bursts, and magnetic disruptions. What makes this even more impactful is accessibility. Surya isn't locked in a vault, it's open-sourced on GitHub and Hugging Face, with tools designed so even non-experts can run it. For the first time, we have a foundation model not just for human speech or text, but for the star we orbit. Think about that. AI has gone from imitating voices to predicting the sun's fury, and in a world where our survival depends on fragile networks, satellites, internet cables, electrical grids, that foresight could literally protect civilization, which brings us to the end of today's journey. We've gone from algorithms whispering about hidden trends online, to AI voices that can carry on lifelike conversations, to legal wars over who controls your devices, and finally, to machines watching the sun for signs of chaos. Outro. So what ties all of this together? It's the accelerating reality that AI is no longer just a tool, it's a force shaping culture, commerce, communication, and even survival. From the videos you watch to the voices you hear, from the apps you can download to the satellites keeping you connected, AI is in the middle of it all. And here's the truth. The stakes have never been higher. Used wisely, these breakthroughs can empower us, protect us, and give us superpowers we never imagined. Used poorly, or locked behind monopolies, they can distort reality, silence innovation, and leave us vulnerable. The internet, the media, even the sky above, none of it will ever be the same. So my question to you is simple. Will we rise to guide this technology responsibly, or let it guide us into chaos? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you trust these breakthroughs, or do they scare you? If you want to keep riding the edge of what's happening in AI and tech, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned, because the story isn't slowing down, it's only getting faster. And trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next.